When I was younger, the concept of carrying a supercomputer about in your pocket like it was nothing more than a pipe dream or something out of a science fiction novel seemed completely absurd. Smartphones, on the other hand, are becoming increasingly commonplace in our culture and provide a low-cost and instantaneous means of communicating in real time with anyone, anywhere in the globe. Despite this, the vast majority of individuals who use smartphones continue to have a poor understanding of the manufacturing process behind these gadgets. Many of us appear to believe that they sprout spontaneously from the ground, but the reality is that a vast array of production procedures existed long before the day when you tore open a box to find your gleaming new smartphone. The demands placed on the warehouse are substantial, and as a result, it is not uncommon for hundreds of employees to be required to obtain OSHA 10 certification to comply with industry and government standards. In light of the pervasiveness of mobile phones in our culture, it is well worth one's time to become familiar with the steps involved in the production of smartphones in large quantities by way of a concise introduction. What is contained within a mobile telephone? The electronic components of mobile phones are made up of a wide variety of metals, composites, and compounds that have been derived from minerals and ores. Mobile phone users can communicate with the rest of the world through voice calls, text messages, and social media platforms because of the seamless integration of electronics and chemistry. As the technology behind mobile phones continues to progress, the chemical components that are employed in the construction of these devices will continue to play an important part in expanding the astonishing capabilities of these gadgets. Plastic material. There is no evidence that plastic ever existed in its natural state. Instead, it is a byproduct that is created during the processing of crude oil. The fabrication of computer chip coatings, protective casings, and electrical components are the primary applications for plastic utilization. The majority of mobile phone plastics are thermoset polymers, such as fluoropolymer, polymethyl methacrylate, polypropylene, polycarbonate, phenylformaldehyde, and styrene. This is because thermoset plastics are resistant to wear and the heat created by frequent usage of the device. Glass. Glass, the display on a mobile phone, is made of glass, which is a crucial component of the device overall. However, this is not your typical glass. This glass is made up of silicon dioxide and aluminum oxide, and a very thin layer of indium tin oxide has been added to it so that it can be used on a screen without causing any damage to the screen. Gorilla Glass is a lightweight, thin, and reinforced glass that is produced by Corning. It is currently used by the majority of mobile phone makers. Metals are utilized in the construction of mobile phones' internal circuitry as well as their batteries. However, when metals are removed from the ground, they are not in their most unadulterated form. Before being used in mobile phones, they must first be extracted from the minerals or ores that they naturally occur in. These are some of the metals that are utilized in the construction of mobile phones. Lithium. Lithium is a rare earth metal that is both lightweight and has a large capacity for the storage of electrical charge. Because of this, the majority of its applications are in the production of batteries for mobile phones. It is extracted from salt lakes and ores found in hard rock. Silicon. Silicon accounts for over 1/4 of all of the elements that go into the production of a smartphone. Its most common application is in the manufacture of mobile phone processors. Because of its exceptional qualities as a semiconductor, silicon is one of the materials that is utilized in the production of mobile phones more frequently than any other. Iron. Iron is the primary material utilized for all of the many screws that are required to build the various components of mobile phones. As well as being employed in the manufacture of body components and batteries, iron alloys are also used. Because of this, they are extremely long-lasting and resistant to oxidation. The metal aluminum. The use of aluminum most frequently seen today is that of a mobile phone's housing for its various electrical components. A smartphone utilizes an average of 22.18 grams of aluminum throughout its construction. It acts as a shielding layer, protecting the electronics from the electromagnetic radiation that is emitted by the antenna. Copper. Copper, because of its excellent electrical and thermal conductivity, copper is utilized more frequently than any other metal in the construction of mobile phone components. The cable connecting the various devices is the primary destination for this material. Development of prototype. The initial phase in the development process of the vast majority of smartphones is the design of a proof of concept prototype. This step allows designers to evaluate both the aesthetics and the functioning of the handset. The first step of this process takes place in a boardroom when several executives meet to discuss various ideas and cost factors. After the idea has been given the go-ahead, the process continues. The idea is then passed on to a department that specializes in electronics engineering so that it can be evaluated based on criteria such as its processing power and memory capacity. In addition, the electronics team will decide on the proper display screen to satisfy the requirements of the device's battery. After the device prototype has been put through its paces in terms of functionality and performance testing for all of the relevant requirements and components, it is brought back to the boardroom for a second go-ahead. The installation of software. The installation of the operating system that the phone will use is the next step in the production process, which is being handled by a software team. This is a really important stage because the operating system and the hardware need to be integrated nicely together. In most cases, a business will not start the mass manufacturing stage until they are 100% certain that the handset can be set up for the software and that the software can be configured for the handset. After this has been figured out, the team will go back to the prototype and make any necessary changes. Conducting tests on the gadget. The following step is a comprehensive examination that will be conducted using a variety of methods. This includes testing the handset's hardware by examining how it reacts to being dropped, spilled on, and other difficulties, as well as testing the software. During software testing, we check that applications load correctly, that data is saved correctly, and so on. Preparedness for mass production and assembly line work. Once the prototype has been completed and a strategy has been devised for the test releases, it is essential to search for industry professionals who are willing to evaluate the device and discuss it with your designers if necessary. In some cases, this procedure entails handing off the construction to original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, that are independent third parties. This is a very difficult step in the process since it can sometimes include hundreds of millions of dollars and several business partners. Larger corporations will have their very own internal multi-step pipelines dedicated only to this stage of the process, putting the device in its packaging. The next step in the production process is getting the mobile phone all set to be shipped out. When the product is packaged, you will be responsible for ensuring that any necessary accessories and a user manual are both present and accessible. It is difficult to even conceive of a smartphone product that is poorly packaged in this day and age, thanks to the efforts of tech titans such as Apple, Amazon, and others. This is because these firms have perfected the art of packaging. Shipping. Delivering the finished product is ultimately the last step in the smartphone production process. Because it requires coordination with distribution routes, stocking firms, and retailers, this stage is just as vital as the others. If the product is delivered sloppily or if it must be returned because the packing is inadequate, the final customer in this chain of events will not be satisfied. In today's world, you must make every effort to ensure that your shipping and packaging procedures are as carbon-free and environmentally friendly as they can be. Make use of environmentally friendly materials and collaborate with third-party delivery services that have made investments in renewable energy sources. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.